The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, Deadites? I'd like to welcome you to part 6 of What If Deku Was a Guardian. It's been roughly 2 weeks since, and Petra is still rehabilitating. She's following the doctor's orders and taking it slow, but she can walk by her own power with minimal pain now. This was one amazing doctor. As far as who she is, I'm gonna leave her as an unnamed descendant of Recovery Girl for now. I'll come up with a name later. Speaking of Petra, she awoke to a sight she was familiar with. Deku's room. Said Deku was sleeping on a cot. They had spent most of the night talking. Deku had so many questions about the reef, and Petra about his golden days. "You could have joined me," Petra whispered. However, Sagira heard that.
"I had no idea you were striving to be in Deku's bed in that manner."
Petra was startled by this.
"Relax. I won't tell him. Let's call it a secret between girls."
Petra muttered her thanks and got clothed and out of his room before anyone could see her. No one saw her short of a certain pink hunter. "So you finally rode the Deku train. Fun as hell, isn't it?" Yes, Mina has had sex with Deku prior to them finding their loves, to which it was a shared wedding. The look on Petra's face made it obvious that nothing happened last night. Mina made a look that said sorry for rubbing it in. The two went to the canteen and had breakfast. "So, you and Deku?" Mina was smiling at Petra. While yes, Deku was the wildest ride she will ever have, Katsuki took her heart, and at the end of the day, she had his child. The two had their fun, and that was really all it was. An immense amount of fun that they would never talk to their spouses about. Speaking of the devil often summons him, however, Katsuki and Kamina sat down next to Mina and they began eating and talking like a family. Petra couldn't help but smile at the sight, but her smile faded when she realized that Deku was denied this comfort. He was stripped of his family, but then again, he had a new one with everyone in the compound. Sure, it wasn't quite the same, but these people relied on him. Speaking of which, Deku came in to get a quick meal. His eyes met Petra and Mina's, and he just sat down. "Good morning, girls. How goes it?" They look at one another and giggle. Several hours later, unbeknownst to the general public, the hive was stirring where it did not belong in Ikebukuro. Blast doors closed and shields activated, only for a signal to be sent to the compound. "Deku, we've got some unusual activity going on in Ikebukuro." That caused Deku to shoot up and run straight to Kamina's workstation. He straight up yeeted him up. Deku had an idea what this was about, but he had to be sure. The first thing he did was activate Amnesiac software. Not that he didn't trust Kamina or anything like that, but May would shove a rebar where the light don't shine if he didn't at least follow this procedure. Deku had fond memories of May and had to force himself out of a memory lane, much to his chagrin. His nightmares have been getting worse as of late, so escape from them within the waking realm was nice. Kamina knew the drill. He wasn't allowed to access Hatsume's secrets quite yet. He had to earn those, but he was on his way. The message that played was,
Deku, why is London Bridges playing on loop?
Deku smiled a happy smile. Yes! My baby is alive. Segura was puzzled to what was going on, and on Deku's command, Kamina summoned the rest of Phoenix, Sloane, and even Petra. Not to mention a new crew that I'll get to in a minute. They all convened in Deku's room. What's going on, boss? Sloane asked matter-of-factly with Deku was currently getting his Gendo on. I hope at least 90% of you know what I mean by that. So, I'm sure you all heard my favorite nursery rhyme playing on loop for the past hour. And at least two of you want an explanation. Deku looks at Kamina and Segura. The room is quietly waiting for an answer. A baby created by me and I, thought long since deactivated or worse, destroyed, has reached out to me. You guys familiar with the Warmind Initiative? Jaws dropped. No one knew that Deku was a part of that since it was a top secret thing. May and I were a part of the project, but that was mostly for funding purposes. When we found out that all they wanted was our bank and not our brains, we left them to work on their precious Warmind. Rasputin was all that remained of that network. Or so you were made to believe. May and I created our own Warmind in secret. Our baby's name was Warmind Musashi. Call it corny if you will, but she and I used to sing to him when he was in his learning phase. This is basically Musashi screaming, "Help me, Daddy!" Deku goes on to explain that they had imprinted on him the importance of him being a secret and staying in the shadows, but now is the time for Musashi to step into the light. A simple mission wasn't going to cut it. It was time for a strike. Petra, Kamina showed you how to run ops, right? Yeah, I can handle ops. I'm guessing you want him in action? She was half right. Kamina's going to need the extra help, because this is going to be a strike, after all. Kamina's never actually ran ops for a strike before, so this is going to be intriguing. Now, this mission would have Phoenix and the newly formed Cerberus on the strike to form Strike Team Brave. Now, since you guys get the polls, I decided to give the Deadites that joined the Boneyard, my Discord server, a chance to further impact the story. I had them choose numbers ranging from 4 to 15, and those numbers are exactly what you think they are. Seating numbers. Cerberus consists of Ochako Uraraka, Rikido Sato, and Shoto Todoroki. This will make for an interesting time. However, there is one change for Sato. He's an exo, so no quirk for him. Something bad happened to him on the field of battle, and he chose to have his conscience transferred. So his name in this is Sato 9. Todoroki, is your team ready for this? If my baby sent this message, then this is bad news. All three of them looked serious and competent. We're ready to be deployed, Deku. Deku explained that there was another entrance to get in to Musashi's hallowed halls, but it was extremely secure and required 2 Hatsume logins, so that wouldn't be happening today. He'd make a point to get Kama into clearance for such an occasion, since he and May were fans of the dual security method. He was just glad that she never removed his credentials. Probably out of nostalgia or loyalty. Either way, it served him well. The two fire teams were going the only route that was really an option at the moment. Guns a-blazing. As soon as they touched down, they were greeted with Hive and swarmed by the Thrall. The Thrall were one thing, but out came an ogre, and that's...
Oh dear. This is going to be fun.
Shoto's ghost quipped. Shoto boosted the output for his Cold Heart with his quirk, and Katsuki followed up by doing the same with his Gallarhorn. It was an awesome way to deal with the pesky ogre. Now I know that Cold Heart is a D2 weapon, but come on. It practically screamed Shoto Todoroki. Deku wanted to run straight to the console and get to Musashi, but he didn't want to risk letting any hostiles in. So he focused on a Nova Bomb and struck at a knight before it could do serious damage to Sato 9. That got him a head nod, and Sato whips out his Thunder Lord and goes to town. Speaking of thunder, it was time for lightning. Both Mina and Ochako activated their Blade Dancer and wrought havoc on the Hive. Both girls combined their quirks with their supers, Lightning Acid and Anti-Gravity combined, but the combo wasn't done quite yet. Shoto took that opportunity to throw an ice-empowered Nova Bomb. So let's just call this the Shatter Bomb, because that's what's going to happen in a minute anyway. They cleaned house, and then continued forward. Deku got close to the terminal, did his credential thing, and a shield came down. But there were more by the blast doors that needed taken down. Do it, Katsuki. Everyone got behind Ground Zero, which, if you ask me, is a better name than King Explosion Mirror. But I digress. But won't that risk the facility, Deku? Ochako spoke up. Deku was glad that his comrades were thinking, and he explained that he and May designed those doors to withstand anything short of a hydrogen bomb, to which Katsuki's got nothing on at the moment. One howitzer impact later and all hostiles are cleared. Unbeknownst to the strike team, our stranger was watching them, or once again I should say, watching Deku. Good. He made it in time. The stranger focused on Deku. You can do this, Deku. The strike team was granted a wondrous sight. Various terminals line the area, and then something comes floating upwards. Before Strike Team Braves stood a red sphere that started scanning them. Izuku Midoriya detected. Welcome, Father. I have news for you. And that's where we're going to leave it, guys.